This is Nightline, February 3rd, 2010.
For nearly 9 years, loved ones of American missionary Veronica Bowers and her infant daughter Charity were left to ask why. Why was this family mistaken for drug smugglers, shot down in an operation as the CIA looked on? Today, they may have some answers, but now it's justice they seek. Our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, has the report. Brian?
Terry, this is the story of how two innocent Americans, a mother and her infant daughter, were killed, and how some members of Congress say the CIA has spent the last 9 years covering up its role in their deaths. It all happened a long time ago, but it was only today that the full extent of the CIA's failures and alleged deceit came to light. There are some who will never forget what happened that day in April 2001, when this plane was shot down in a CIA operation in Peru.
When my daughter was shot out of the air and my granddaughter was murdered, as far as I'm concerned, and nobody has had to pay any price for it, it's unbelievable. It's immoral. It's not right.
Genevieve, this is Gator, go ahead.
As part of a U.S. effort to stop drug smuggling from South America, the CIA aircraft sneaked up behind the plane and mistakenly identified it as likely belonging to a drug smuggler.
We're trying to remain covert at this point.
The CIA could not have been more wrong about who was on the plane. They were American missionaries from Michigan, Jim and Veronica Bowers. Also on board the plane was the Bowers' then 6-year-old son, Corey, and their infant daughter, Charity.
Nobody's been punished for it. Nobody's been held accountable. We still don't have answers.
Over the course of 1 hour and 49 minutes, the CIA personnel involved would never correct their mistake. And in fact, would violate again and again what were thought by the White House to be strict rules of engagement, including a check of the plane's tail number. That did not happen.
We can go up and attempt tail number, but the problem with that, if he is dirty and he detects us, he makes a right turn immediately, and we can't chase him.
Had they read the tail number, the CIA could have learned the plane was registered to a church group.
See, I don't know if this is Bandito or if it's Amigo. Okay?
Okay.
No sé.
Okay.
So it's posible we get him to land in Iquitos and check.
Okay.
Okay, before...
Así es.
You know?
Yeah, así es. Yes, very good.
Soon, the Peruvian Air Force gunship arrives on the scene. They contact the Bowers plane with a warning in Spanish. We will shoot you down.
De no obedecer,
Iquitos.
procederemos a derribarlo.
The Bowers pilot was on a different frequency and never heard the warning.
Come a little bit left, Tony. I can see him. Okay.
Unlike drug smugglers, the plane was not flying low to evade radar. And now the CIA pilots are beginning to have their doubts.
This guy doesn't fit the profile. Okay, I understand this is not our call, but this guy is at 4,500 feet. He is not taking any evasive action.
But the CIA pilots did nothing to stop the Peruvians as they pushed ahead to Phase 3.
It's 3 phase, autorize, okay?
Okay, but you sure it's Bandito? Are you sure?
Yes.
It's bad.
Autorizado fase 3.
Okay?
Okay.
If you sure.
Then more serious doubts, quietly whispered.
Hay autorizado fase 3.
I think we're making a mistake, but I agree with you.
The CIA should have radioed to the Peruvian interceptor and said, abort the mission, stand down.
The CIA says its pilots did not have the authority to stop the operation. A minute and a half later, the gunship opened fire. Bowers' pilot screams in Spanish for them to stop.
Tell them to terminate. Don't shoot. Tell them to terminate. No más.
Roger. No más, Tucano, no más.
Ya calculamos. Está saliendo el fuego.
You hit him, man. Aita?
Sí.
Can we terminate Phase 3? Okay, there.
The damage was done. As the plane caught on fire, trailing black smoke, it headed for the river to land. Veronica Bowers was already dead from a bullet through her chest. Infant Charity died from a bullet in the head.
It's a terrible, terrible thing to see your child being killed and to see your daughter and your granddaughter being murdered. To me, that's what it was. Oh, a mistake? Oh, yeah, of course it was a mistake. But why? How come it was a mistake?
Right there. Yeah.
Not long after the plane was floating upside down in the river, the CIA director in Washington was telling White House officials it was just an unavoidable error.
When the CIA director comes to you and you know him and trust him and he says, we followed all the procedures, you believe him. The problem was that the CIA was apparently lying to its own director.
In Congress today, the CIA was accused by a top Republican of running a 9-year-long effort to stonewall and mislead Congress, failing to reveal how and why all of the program's strict rules were ignored by the CIA.
If the rules as outlined had been followed, the Bowers plane would not have been shot down.
I want to know the truth. I want to know why. I want to know why my baby's gone. Don't they understand that?
Miss you guys.
I want somebody to have to stand up and say, I was responsible. I want him to know what a mother's heart is like. You can feel the last touch, the last kiss she gave you when you said goodbye, not knowing it was going to be the last one. And I want somebody to tell me why they killed my girl. Why they killed my child.
Today, the CIA said its 9-year-long investigation had determined there was no cover-up, but that 16 CIA employees should be disciplined, including, we learned, the woman then in charge of counter-narcotics. Many of the 16 are no longer with the CIA, and one of them told us his discipline was no more than a letter of reprimand placed in his file, which he was told would be removed in 1 year. That's the punishment for his role in the wrongful deaths of 2 innocent Americans. Terry?
And those answers, Brian, took nearly 9 years to arrive. What a scandal.